Hello, my YouTube family. This is the OG Crypto New Jack coming at you with some juicy news. But before I begin, let me say I'm not a financial advisor. Anything you see or hear in this video is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as financial advice. Remember to do your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making investment decisions. Okay, we're going to begin looking at the total crypto market, and it's at 1.14 trillion. It is up 2.4%. Coming in at number one is Bitcoin at 27,880. Coming in at number two is Ethereum at 1,774. My beloved XRP is at number six at 48 cents. Taking a look at crypto bubbles, it looks like it's mostly green. It looks like the top gain is going to be stocks. That is up 20.1%. Taking a look at the fear and greed index is neutral at 49. Okay, we're going to start over here with CoinDesk. They put this article out. Obviously, the Prometheum timing was a little suspect, says Blockchain Association's Ron Hammond. Let me just play the video.
Yeah, so obviously the Prometheum timing was a little suspect. This is a pretty quiet firm. A lot of folks in DC especially really have never heard of these folks, but they did get approved for that special purpose broker-dealer license. And so what was obvious, though, in the hearing is that there seems to be a little suspicious timing, at least at the SEC, in regards to the Binance and Coinbase lawsuits as well. We have Prometheum being able to register, which will, in some idea, debunk the idea that there's no pathway to registration. But at the same time, there are a lot of suspect questions in terms of, A, the talking points that seem to be reiterating the SEC's lines that securities laws is clear. And then at the same time, there's also a lot of questions about the business model itself of Prometheum. And then finally, there's some ties to China as well. Now, mind you, again, they went through a CFIUS review as well as an SEC review as well on the China front. So our belief is that they shored up on that end. But of course, a lot of folks in Capitol Hill especially are wondering, A, why was this the first firm to get this special purpose broker-dealer license, 2 years over the fact that it was introduced? And at the same time, it did seem a little suspicious that they were reiterating these talking points right when Congress is going through a pretty monumental bill right now between the House Ag Committee and Financial Services that would regulate and give a pathway for crypto exchanges to register.
Yeah, exactly. Something just doesn't seem to add up with the Prometheum. And we already made all the connections between the ETHgate and Prometheum. They're pretty much one and the same. Okay, moving on. We have John E. DEATON. He puts out, watch what they do, not what they say. At the same time, Gary Gensler is calling for crypto company Coinbase, hucksters and scammers. The NASDAQ, BlackRock, Deutsche Bank, Citadel, Fidelity, Schwab are all becoming crypto companies. How about that? And that was his take on that. We got a couple more takes from Bill Morgan. He writes, so it's a takeover of crypto rather than kill it. Crypto has value after all. Moving on, Adam Cochran, his take is, so BlackRock, Citadel, Deutsche Bank, and NASDAQ have all started to enter the crypto space in the last week. They've bullied out participants so they can scoop up cheap coins. The trajectory for crypto has never been more clear. Exactly. Okay, CoinDesk puts this out. Crypto exchange Gemini has announced plans to expand in Asia Pacific with a hub in Singapore and an engineering base in India. As everybody else is moving in the right direction with crypto and growing, we are pushing out American companies and exchanges out of our borders and into another country so they can thrive, which doesn't make sense to me. CoinDesk as well. New, a unified ledger that combines CBDCs, tokenized money, and assets that could enhance the global financial system. This is BIS.org's annual economic report. Okay, moving on. Anders, he put this thing out. Ripple's work with the IMF and central bank goes back a long time. It says here, Ripple hosts a world central banks to explore the next generation of payments. And this is dated November 13, 2017. So you look at almost 6 years ago. Gold Telegraph has this breaking news. The International Monetary Fund is working on a platform for central bank digital currencies to enable transactions between countries. Here comes the monetary reset. And I believe on that same note, shout out to XRP European. XRP mentioned in today's article, this is the one IMF advisor sees power in global ledger, because it says here central banks could adopt a global ledger system that plugs into their own domestic CBDC platforms, according to an IMF insider. And as we already know, IMF and Ripple have some connections going back several years. Shout out to Weezy. He says here the top crypto author defends XRP against Bitcoin Maxi's criticism. It says Panos Mekras defended XRP against claims of centralization and irrelevance in a Twitter clash with a Bitcoin maximalist, stressing its XRP adoption. And there's no need for this. There's no need for tribalism or maximalism. We're all in the same space. I want them all to do well, whether it's Bitcoin and Ethereum, XRP. all the ones that have a store of value or have a real world use case are going to survive. But unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, the vast majority are going to go away, especially after regulations are in full gear and all the meme and shit coins are going bye-bye. But for all the maximalists who do not see XRP as a real thing, well, this is XRP News who put this thing out. XRP will melt faces very soon. $2, $10, $50, $100. I don't believe it's going to stop there, but I do believe faces will be melted in the near future. Moving on, the Digital Pound Foundation put this thing out. For the first time, money is ready for the digital age. A CBDC will enable citizens and businesses to automate cumbersome payments and process and implement logic into money. This is Gilbert Verdian. He's from QUANT. And the headline of this is QUANT collaborates with the BIS and the Bank of England on Project Rosalind. And that's good to see because I don't believe that XRP is going to be the only one. I do believe XRP is going to have a major role in the new payment system that's coming, but it's not going to be the only one. And you're going to have all those other ISO compliant coins, whether, you know, XLM, XTC, Algorand, Quant, IOTA, all those coins are going to do well because they're going to be part of this new system that's coming in the very near future. Okay, moving on. Shout out to ISO 222. He put this thing out. Ripple plus Finastra plus Volante plus ACI equals FedNow. Has here the U.S. Federal Reserve planned FedNow launch on July 1st, 2023 involves 3 Ripple partnered banks, Finastra, Volante, and ACI worldwide. So we know what's coming, folks. Okay, moving on. Mr. Hubert, he put this thing out. Bill Himmon's son, Nate Himmon, who was a senior director enterprise at Tech and Plug and Play, he writes, "Congratulations on an amazing career, Dad. Can't wait to see what comes next." And Mr. Hubert writes, "We too, Nate, we too." I don't think his son is referring to what we're referring to. We're referring to some perjury charges. And moving on from there, you have James K. Filan that responded to Stuart Aldorado's tweet. Stuart put out, "The law requires the SEC employees, like all federal employees, to act and appear to act impartially. The law asks, would a reasonable person, knowing the facts, question the employee's impartiality? You know the facts." And we sure do. And James K. Filan responded to that saying, "Public service is a public trust, requiring employees to place loyalty to the Constitution, the laws, and ethical principles above private gain." And we all know already that there's nothing ethical and there's no integrity in the SEC. I mean, it's no longer speculation. It is 100% confirmed. We have SEC officials, Bill Himmon, who committed perjury. 100% fact, 100% proven. You have the SEC dropping a lawsuit on Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson saying they should have known they were selling unregistered securities in 2014 when they themselves in 2018 and 2019 didn't even know if it was or wasn't a security. Completely unethical. So this is something that needs to be looked at, and hopefully it does in the very near future. And let us not forget, and that is a very good reminder because we have Brad Garlinghouse. He's always with the big dogs. We got IMF, all kinds of central banks. He's always in these meetings, and there's a reason for that because he's going to be part, Ripple, XRP is going to be part of the new financial system that's going to be coming in. And here we go. Shout out to Riz. She put out an interview with John E. Dean and Tony Edwards from Thinking Crypto. And he has his thoughts on how and when the case might possibly end. Here we go.
Let's talk about the Ripple lawsuit. Everybody's in high anticipation of Judge Torres's ruling. It could happen today, could happen next week. What are your thoughts? Do you think we hear something very soon?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Mark Fagel, who was on my Crypto Law show with Jeremy Hogan, former SEC regional chief, a guy who knows the SEC in and out. He said 2 interesting things. One, he said he thought the SEC should win, but he thinks that the SEC may lose. I found that interesting. And he also said he expects the decision any day now. Now, I expected the decision before today. I said that I wouldn't be shocked if it took through the summer, but I would be surprised if we were in June and it was still pending. And we're in June and it's still pending. So I'm also in the camp that we could get a decision today. We could get a decision next week. I've told XRP holders I'm really, really confident that the worst case scenario is September. And I say worst case because some people think it's going to be, you know, next year, right?
Yeah.
There's some people, well, if September 30th comes and she hasn't decided, she has to report herself to Congress and say, I have been waiting to rule on this massively important decision for 9 months and I'm still haven't done it. You know, no, it's like a think about that list as like a public shaming list, right? You know, and you know, a judge doesn't want to go on that list because it looks like he or she's not doing their job and they're not, you know, being diligent. So I'm very confident that Judge Torres would never allow herself to go on that list.
Okay, folks. You heard right there, John E. Dean. He states this thing may wrap up today, may wrap up tomorrow, next week, next month, but at the latest, we're looking at September 30th, because after that, she gets put on this naughty list, and she has never been on the list, and I don't think she is going to begin to do that now at this stage of her career. So we'll see. Obviously, time will tell, and when the verdict comes out, whenever it does, we'll know for sure because it'll be official. But that is what we are working on. So, okay, fam, that's going to do it for today's video. If you found this video to be helpful, would you please smash a like and subscribe? I would really appreciate it, and it doesn't cost you anything. Thank you very much in advance. In the words of Snoop Dogg, keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind. Peace out, fam.